Haunting, seductive, hypnotizing. No, I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about Dracula's brides. Dracula is famous for many things. Bela Lugosi's stare, Renfield's insanity, the gothic sets. But one of my favorite moments, one not talked about nearly enough, is the eerie entrance of these women. Emerging from their coffins in the castle, the brides are both ethereal and terrifying. And I'll say especially ethereal in Dracula, and especially terrifying in Spanish Dracula. They never speak, and their long, chilling silence only makes their presence creepier. But who were they? It's about time we give these women their moment in the moonlight. Today, we are sinking our teeth into the story of Dracula's brides, the women who played them, why they matter, and why it's high time we give them the spotlight they have always deserved. I'm Antonia Carlotta, and this is Universally Me, the channel for all things Universal and classic horror. My family started Universal Studios, and they made the Universal monster movies, including Dracula. In Bram Stoker's novel, Jonathan Harker first sees the three women standing in the moonlight, casting no shadows. He thinks he's dreaming at first. Two are dark and dreamy, one as pale as can be, and he instantly wishes they would kiss him. As opposed to the film where they're stoic, serious, and slow-moving, in the book they're playful, sensual, and fun. Well, at least fun for me as the reader. In the film, we first see them awaken in their coffin alongside Dracula. They're almost a blink and you'll miss them role, and they went completely uncredited. Dracula's brides are more than just spooky set dressing, though. They are a vital part of the film, and they do a lot to expand the world of Dracula. The brides hint at centuries of history, and they suggest that Dracula's terror goes far beyond the plot. When they approach Renfield, we realize that the danger is not just from Dracula, but the whole household, and that Dracula is not just a monster, but a cult leader. It's never clear whether these women are his creations, his followers, his brides, sisters, maybe prisoners. But it is clear that these women pose a threat, even if they are subservient to Dracula. And it's a fascinating dynamic. Are they brainwashed victims, empowered predators, some twisted sisterhood? I always think that room for interpretation makes the movie so much creepier than actual clarity. The first bride we see is Geraldine Dvorak. She has a stunning, icy look that is so perfect for a role like this. Beyond Dracula's bride, her most talked about role today is the 6 months or so she spent as Greta Garbo's stand-in. She is beautiful enough for a career in Hollywood, but it does seem that it never took off. One of the dark-haired brides was played by Cornelia Thaw, and just like Geraldine, she also didn't become a big name in Hollywood. She only played bit parts and stand-in roles, and she doubled for Corinne Griffith and Lila Lee. And lastly, we have Dorothy Tree. She's perhaps the best known of the brides. Dracula was one of her first roles, but she would go on to have a very healthy career all the way until she was blacklisted in the Red Scare in 1952. She was a beautiful face. She had a haunting screen presence, and she has this tragic off-screen ending. Honestly, she deserves a video of her own. Todd Browning gets a lot of the credit for directing Dracula, but Karl Freund did a lot of the work. He was a German expressionist who helped define the look of early horror. The brides, from Freund's point of view, they look like paintings. They emerge from the darkness with light passing through their gowns like ghosts, very much in contrast to Dracula's pure black. There's beautiful symbolism to these women: forbidden desire, eternal servitude, even female rage. These women have been turned, literally and metaphorically, by a powerful man, transformed into something unrecognizable, trapped in immortality and starving for something that they can never truly satisfy. It feels especially potent when remembering this is 1931, and women's roles were often a lot more constrained back then. You could play the love interest or the damsel in distress, but the brides are not either of those things, far from it. They're not romanticized. They're not victims, but they're not exactly villains either. Even though these women were silent, barely credited, and cast aside after their confrontation with Renfield, Dracula's brides have become icons. Why? Well, I think it's because we don't get enough of them. They're not explained. And for me, at least, I am dying to know more. I want them to have an arc, to scream, to die, to learn something. They're never dealt with and they're never saved. They just vanish. So now I feel the void. The brides have made their appearances in Dracula films across the decades. There's the 1960 Hammer film called Brides of Dracula. I just watched Dan Curtis's Dracula from 1974 that has the 3 brides. These brides are pretty similar to the original, but they can move a little faster sometimes. They will hiss and growl. And then Francis Ford Coppola's 1992 Dracula also features 3 brides, played by Monica Bellucci, Michaela Bercu, and Florian Kendrick. And in this film, they talk. One of the craziest and perhaps campiest representations of the brides comes from the 2004 film Van Helsing, which is a movie that I want to like so bad, but no matter how many times I watch it, I just can't get on board. But in a movie that makes me cringe so much, the brides might be the best part. They're part vampire, part harpy. They've got a much bigger role. And they have a lot of the friskiness, the playfulness that was originally written in the book. They are different in every way from the brides in the 1931 film. Between the animals, the bugs, the brides, and who knows what else, Dracula was never alone. And when you remember that, it makes Renfield's time in the castle that much scarier. Who was watching? Who was waiting? Who or what else is under Dracula's spell? I don't think the brides in any other Dracula movie or spinoff have quite captured the magic of the original, and I think some of that has to do with how authentic they were. They weren't trying to be hot, and they weren't in your face about any quick scare tactics. They were purely haunting. That restraint gave them lasting power. They embody classic horror and that tension that builds up in your body as you watch these old films. They were the first and still some of the most elegant female monsters in film. The Brides of Dracula were some of the first horror characters to show that you didn't need noise or violence. Even a slow, haunting walk was enough to do it. These beautiful Brides of Dracula are etched in my memory forever, and while I will always go back to the original to appreciate them, I would love to see a new modern interpretation of them. Think of the potential. In the comments, tell me your favorite representation of the brides in film or TV, and if it's the 1931 original film, I want you to tell me your second favorite as well. Don't forget, if you love these universal and classic horror deep dives, to hit the subscribe, the like, the notification bell, share this video with somebody as hauntingly beautiful as Dracula's brides, and don't forget, paid members get bonus videos, pictures, and more, and it's a great way to support my work. Thank you.